was after several strange occurrences had happened in the house, just hearing voices, you know, my children were, saying they saw things or heard things as well. Um, One night I was laying in my bed and I was asleep and I was woken up by something grabbing my feet. And I opened my eyes, I'm terrified, like, who is this? I don't see anyone, but it feels like they're about to pull me out of the bed by my feet. Um, and I'm having sleep paralysis. And I realize that I can't scream. I can't, reach over for my husband. I'm frantically trying to kick my feet and kick this thing away, whatever it is. Um, it happens. This is probably maybe 20 seconds and it stops. But, it really left an impression on me. Well, I just brush it off the next day. It was sleep paralysis, even though I'd never had an episode like that before. I just think, sleep paralysis, or a bad dream, or maybe my brother who had passed away, a couple years before, maybe he was just trying to come through and say hello and he didn't realize he was terrifying me. So, a week or two passes and it happens again. And, same thing. I can't see what it is, but it's got me by my feet and it's pulling with all of its might. And I feel like I'm about to fall out of the bed. Except for this time, it doesn't go away and it doesn't stop. It felt like hands on my feet. And then the next thing I knew, hands were wrapping around my forearms and pulling. So it was so forceful and it just pulled me right out of my bed. And then I realized it's actually pulled me right out of my body. And now I'm having this full blown out of body experience.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah. So that was life changing. And, it was frightening for the first few seconds or so. But I was led through my house. I remember trying to throw my physical arms up over my face because I was taken right through the bedroom door. It was closed. And I thought, oh, I'm going to hit the wood door, but I went right through it. And, I floated up and this thing took me through the various floors of my house. I could see, the rooms and I could see my oldest son sleeping in his bed because we floated up through his room and all the way up into the attic. And, it was that experience, that made me want to investigate this more. And at first it was all about, what does this mean? What is an out-of-body experience? How do I, is there a way to do that again? Because I thought it was a blast. Once I got over my fear, I
Well,
thought
the
that
first
was,
time should have been a little more gentle. So,
yeah,
you know,
I was like, that was so cool. I want, it felt like I was flying and floating. And so I wanted to know everything I could about it. And that's what really started me down this path and on this journey.
well, and it's been quite a journey so far. I mean, you have
Hmm.
done a lot of things, you've accomplished a lot of things. Your research for your books, the first book that you did was Haunted Shelby County, Alabama, and then you had Haunted Talladega County that you did with
Hmm.
Shane, and then you went into Haint Blue, parts one and two, two separate books. But
Yes.
your research for Shelby County was great because I grew up in Birmingham and I wasn't aware of some of those.
Yeah, and I, had was fairly new to the Shelby County area. I had been in the Birmingham area for, I guess, about a decade when I started writing that book. But, I didn't know the history. I wasn't really a history buff until, you know, I started writing that book and researching it. And, when you start doing paranormal investigations, the history part just goes hand in hand with,
Mm-hmm.
the paranormal part. So I really, developed a love for history as an adult. I really wasn't crazy about it as a kid and in school and in college, but later on, and now I just love learning about the history of places.
Well, I'm gonna interrupt you there because we have a 3-minute break coming up. And I know that we are going to come back to the out-of-body experience, but we have some more questions for you in chat too. And we will pick those up when we get back. Y'all enjoy this.
Listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to Fate Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host, with my guest, Kim Johnston. And we were taking some questions out of the chat room, and there's several of them there. We have... Are you up for them, Kim?
I am.
Okay. The next question is your bucket list. What spot or spots do you want to investigate that you haven't?
I really want to go to Savannah, Georgia. I've never been. I know there's like several places there that are hot spots that I would love to go to. Bobby Mackey's maybe might be on my bucket list. I'm not sure if I'm brave enough.
You are.
But I'd love to check out Bobby Mackey's. And what is the sanatorium place? And is it in Kentucky? I'm drawing a blank, but that
is the
one of
Waverly Hills?
Waverly, yes. I was like, it starts with a W. Yes, I would love to go to Waverly sometime. That's another one. So
we should do that as a group.
We should. Hell's Bar Dam is another one that I haven't done. I would love to do that.
And that's close.
And then I would like to travel internationally. And I don't know a whole lot of what's out there, but I would just love to one day just go to other countries and learn about their folklore and what are their haunted places and check out some of those. So that's what I hope to do one day.
Well, I totally think that you'll do that. A friend of mine is so excited because he just got tickets to an event at Leap Castle. in June in Scotland. So
Awesome.
perfect. Perfect.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, I would
So,
love that.
well, I think that's going to be something cool too. We should just
Yeah,
we should totally go and do Waverly as a group. I think that would be fun. And
I think so too.
it's not that expensive to just go and rent it. I had fun when we went to that hospital
Mm-hmm.
and had it to do. That was just an amazing thing. Let's see. The next question. Do you think that paranormal activity is becoming stronger? Is the paranormal more active?
Um, Based on the last, I guess, 10 years or so, it's hard for me to know. It's hard for me to say. I can tell you that it does get more active certain times of year. It does seem like the veil is thinner from October to, December. Um, and it seems a little cliche because everyone's all about the horror movies and Halloween during October, but it does seem there's more activity. And I've experienced that just my own personal experiences. There's been more frequent occurrences in my home. My husband has also noticed it as well, and he's not really into that kind of stuff, but he's experienced several things, and they tend to be that October to December time frame. So, you know, it's hard for me to say if it overall, if it's becoming more of an active time as we go, but I do know that there's certain times of years that really bring it out. And then certain events, like a couple of years ago, we started getting cases from this one little particular place in Alabama, Pinson, Alabama. And it was so odd. It was just out of the blue. But we had like 3 cases in a row from that area. And someone mentioned, well, they're building that interstate, the new interstate right through there. And the newspaper said that they dug up some Native American, burial grounds as they were going through there recently. And they might have disturbed those graves and some, maybe some ancient burial grounds, building the new interstate. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of made sense after, they mentioned that we would have gotten these little cases from that area. And, the clients, none of them knew each other. So it's not like one client referred us to the other. And it's just very odd that in the matter of, 3 or 4 weeks, we had 3 people from the same city call us. But so certain events trigger it. And then, certain times a year, definitely.
Yeah, I think my favorite case that we've done was the one where I had to get out and push the car up somebody's driveway. That
Oh my
was
gosh.
that was an interesting place.
It gives me so much anxiety to think
That
I
was
that's like a nightmare for me to have a car that you have to push
well,
up
but
a
I mean, it
hill.
wasn't your car; it was the driveway, and we
Yeah,
were
it was.
driving up into these woods, and
Yes.
I was like, I really hope these aren't like scary people.
Yeah,
you know, I hope they're legit, but
but it was dark and in the woods on a mountainside, and my car
a
wouldn't
steep
go.
mountainside. That was a steep mountainside.
It was. I have anxiety thinking about that even to this day, and I'm so thankful that I got rid of that little car and I have a big truck that's 4-wheel drive now. I feel like
We can
I'll
get out
go
of places.
anywhere. Right?
We can get into them, but we can also get out of them.
Yes.
Absolutely. One of the question that followed that up with, are there more deaths in the fall and winter, and could that affect the number of incidents? Maybe their death dates and maybe their anniversary dates.
Yeah,
So,
I mean that's totally plausible. That's something that, we could probably fairly easily find out
hmm
if we had the right data, if we knew where to look. But, if there's more deaths in the fall, that definitely could be part of it. And then one of the things that I learned in college when I was taking a death and dying class is that people tend to hang on when they're dying, if they know they're dying, they tend to hang on even after they've gone unconscious. They'll hang on for